What they reported, AI companies are growing faster than SaaS. And so what that means is that there's a real use case, there's real money that is being made in sort of the net new companies from monetization, engagement, willingness to pay.
I'd love to dive into moats. So, from what I understand, Hugging Face, that's more on the infrastructure side for AI. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
Um,
The founders started as a consumer company that like pivoted into infra. Yeah.
okay. So, how then do you think about moats when it comes to like, consumer AI companies?
I think there are a couple things. Like we said, there's a classical sort of marketplace dynamics, and there are companies you can sort of squint and see. Oh, you can really corner a certain set of supply, if you will. Let's call that net new models that are coming out for Hugging Face, or net new image models that are coming out for Civet. And if it all lives in a certain place, then if that's the use case, you just go there. So I think that's like one example of classical marketplace dynamics that we're starting to see in sort of AI companies. The other one I would say is sort of workflow almost. And this sort of weighs a little bit into, the prosumer world. But because these products are so magical and useful, what ends up happening is people start to do a lot more on it. And when you do a lot more on it, let's say I started creating most of my videos or images through a certain specific product. And what it does is starts to build out one, my library and my history of all my, body of work, if you will, part one. Part two is if the company is thoughtful, which a lot of our companies are thinking through how do I actually make it easier to export that? How do I make it easier to distribute that? How do I make it easier for customers to do what they actually want to do, whether it's distribute, monetize, or create. And the more parts of that workflow they own, the more essential the product becomes to their lives. And therefore, it becomes really, really hard to rip it apart, rip it out of their life. So I think, you know, incremental ownership of the larger workflow of what they're doing as part two of how I think about sort of moat.